Good day to you all. For an excuse to make some easy content, I've decided to make a Q&A for fun. So let's just start this without all the hoo-ha, shall we? Viral Melon asks, what's the most unfair boss you've ever no-hit? Not counting the ones you didn't use the standard no-hitting rules for, like Tremor. Well, it would be hard to answer this with just one boss, so let's mention several, which are all from Super AA. We've got those damn worms with their ability to spawn attacks in the player. Zero Protocol for teleporting into you. Don't you just love telefragging? And the first boss I ever gave up on, Super AA Awakened Shen. The agony videos from this have been lost to time because it's pure hell and I deleted them. Stupid, I know. Kiwi? We're gonna go with that. Kiwi asks, any favourite weapon type you use to tackle bosses? I know it's quite dependent on the boss itself, but is there any class that comes up more than others to you? Well, personally, I stick to Mage. However, when it comes to faster moving bosses, I prefer Ranger. However, I hate Melee. I'd rather avoid it. Connor Anderson asks, what's the hardest boss you've ever attempted? Well, I would say Supreme Calamitous, but that was in the early days. Considering now it's not even a threat. I mean, Dad Mode only took 32 tries, so versus the 1,276 for my first time in Death Mode, so instead it'll go to Spirit of Purity, the rematch. I've already spoken about this before and explained about its difficulty here. Annotations! Ionic asks, what inspired the design of your character and friends? If you've already mentioned this, sorry, I'm relatively new to the channel. That's alright, Ionic. Well, I've always liked the cultist set because technically I wear a mask myself to hide my emotions. You know how it is. As for the Moth wings, I used them and noticed that they glow in the dark and just grew attached to them. Next thing I know, viewers were making their own little lore that I'm part Moth, part cultist. So I just went with it, and it's basically evolved over time. As for Sprocket, there is a really heartwarming reason for its creation. My father sadly passed away a few years ago, which tore me up. Then Yharex offered to make a pet and followed me around like a guardian angel. The halo and the wings showing that. As for the little Sprocket in the middle of it, well, that's because my father was a mechanic and nicknamed me Sprocket as a child, so it all just came together. As for Shadow, well, she was part of the lore that I'd been making for ages, then Yharex offered to make her as well. Then in A Moth in Time, IG, the creator of the SGAmod, and Hellion, who Shadow really is, remade her to look more like Hellion, but also keeping her shadowy, gassy design that Yharex did. Infinity N asks, what boss makes you feel so... What boss made you feel so good after beating the heck out of it? And the one that makes you go, is this even considered a boss? Well, I'm gonna go back and bring up Supreme Calamitous again. Because when I beat this thing after the 1,276 attempts, I got out of my chair, left my room while screaming, "Woo!
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about! Woo!"
It was the one and only time I was that happy to beat anything. After that, I never felt the same rush after beating something ever again. As for the worst boss, then that's going to have to go to Cal again with the Nuggets because, well, this isn't a boss, it's a mini-boss! Why is it even labelled as a boss? It doesn't deserve it! I would have mentioned some other mods, but anything that comes even close were classed as work in progress, so of course their bosses would feel like that. HeavyLobster and Jeldon asks, what's your favourite weapon? Demon Scythe and Last Prism. Eden asks, how do you feel about Summoner for no-hits and in general? Well, personally I really like Summoner for no-hits since you don't need to aim or waste any of your focusing resources. You just move around while your little minions kill everything for you. If you're struggling to focus, then minions assemble! As for in general, if you're building and you just want to have some peace, minions are the way to go. But also if you want some extra damage, then why not have a couple of extra minions? As long as they don't interfere with iframes. Dr. Bright asks, this might be a bit of an unusual question for a comment section, but gay, straight, bi, pan, or the hell is spec? Well, I'm married to my wife, and we had a daughter. So I'll let you figure it out, shall I? Zol asks, any other games you want to play in this channel? Well, I did do a Hat in Time no-hits, which went poorly. I wouldn't mind doing some Hollow Knight no-hits, to be honest with you. I guess we'll have to see.
Oh, that was great.
Monolith asks, when are we going to be able to fight you in Terraria? When are we going to fight you in When are we going to fight you in Terraria as a boss? Like, for real, I don't even care if you're just a reskinned lunatic cultist. Just please, a damn fight. Well, you already can. It's called Death Terminus. No hit anything, I'll appear as a town NPC, kill Moonlord, then challenge me. Good luck. AMR asks, what's with the name? Well, I was at work and wanted to change the name of this channel. I was just thinking that I liked the word Armageddon, but wanted something else at the start of it. Then the word Cataclysmic came to mind. So I went with it because anything was better than the old name. Then the channel grew, people started referring to me as Cata, and the name just stuck. Ebon asks, what's your opinion on the fact that whatever happens, the sun will eventually explode and everything will cease to exist? The great almighty lamp, the great power within, will soon become uncontrollable, growing to intense size, to rebuild the new world. We as moths await this day, to move on to the next phase of our existence. We shall rule over this new world as gods. Devil Scarlet asks, what keeps you motivated? Why do you continue to do what you do? What's your driving force? Well, to be honest, I don't fully know. It's likely because all the new bosses that keep appearing, the game might be the same, but with so many mods and so many bosses, I'm spoiled for choice. Plus, with 1.4, I've got even more to do in Master Mode and For the Worthy. I don't really know what keeps me coming back to Terraria. There's just something that pulls me back towards it like a magnet. Abes asks, how many times have you died in Terraria? And how much time do you spend on videos? Likely tens of thousands of times. So many deaths. As for videos, it really depends. It'll either take a couple of minutes to a couple of hours to a couple of days to a couple of weeks to a couple of months. It really all depends on, well, many factors. There isn't really a way to have an estimated time. Catnip asks, what is life? And what mod have you been playing that gave you the most beautiful experience? Well, life is... well, I've not worked that one out yet. As for the best experience, that has to go to Mod of Redemption because... wow! What a mod loaded with stories, secrets, subworlds and more. It's just full of dedication and just really fantastic. Ratman asks, why'd you put yourself through hundreds of deaths every time you upload? Well, I fight bosses for my own enjoyment. See, I fight bosses to have fun and challenge myself. The harder the challenge, the better the payoff for defeating it. Posting them for others to enjoy is just a secondary thing, not the primary. This name I can't pronounce asks, what's your favourite game that isn't Terraria? Well, I'll have to say Far Cry 1. I've played this game so many times I know every single tiny thing about it. It was all I really had as a kid. Well, that and The Sims. So I played Far Cry endlessly, increasing the difficulty to challenge myself further. Once I find something too easy, I always find a way to make it harder so I can challenge myself further. If I beat that, then up goes the difficulty again. Astrom asks, how can Sprocket use the last prism, or anything for that matter, with no hands? Magic! Conjurer asks, thinks hard. Why do you like Moth so much? And how was your first encounter with them if you remember? Also, I just want to say that your intros are epic. They are. Last I checked, it's just boss jump scares, and just a reminder that Shadows of Ban can do to help. Well, I didn't originally like moths. Damn things coming into my room, attacking my light bulbs, landing on my monitor and just flying into my face. But things have changed now with the whole Cata being a moth thing. Hell, I was filling up at a petrol station, or a gas station for you Americans, had a moth land on my shoulder, and it wouldn't go away, so I just drove home with a moth on my shoulder. Got out the car and sadly flew away, but hey, I had a friend for the trip. Well, there you have it. A Q&A with me. I might do this again one day because this was actually fun. Now, unless I magically have time, then this will be the last video I post for a while because I'm going away on holiday for 2 weeks. Finally! A year of working and then 12 days off. Can't wait! While I'm sitting outside with the cool evening air blowing on me as I watch the waves roll in, I'll be writing new scripts so I can get some more content done. At least I better do, or I'll have to slap myself and question, why didn't you do anything productive when you had the chance to?